Doctor of Laws recipient, Rebecca Blumenstein. Ms. Blumenstein grew up in Essexville, Michigan, and got her start in journalism while working as a student reporter, then editor at the Michigan Daily. She later went on to work at the highest levels of the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, and now, as the president of the editorial division at NBC News, Ms. Blumenstein oversees editorial teams, digital platforms, and flagship shows like Meet the Press and Dateline NBC. Please join me in welcoming Rebecca Blumenstein back to the University of Michigan.
Thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be here today. Congratulations, graduates. Take a moment to appreciate what you've done, and take a moment to say thank you to your family and friends who helped get you to this glorious milestone. You are graduating from one of the world's great universities. The things you have learned and the people you have met here will be with you forever. They will shape the person you are in ways that may not be clear to you now. I'm astounded to realize that I graduated from these hallowed grounds 35 years ago. Those were the days when Jim Harbaugh played football here. It was also the dawn of the internet age. I arrived on campus with a typewriter, which was soon replaced by passes for computer centers that expired whether your paper was done or not. Years later, you were the group that got to cheer on our football team, led by, of course, Coach Harbaugh, to a fabled national championship. But you also faced and overcame challenges without precedent. You had your education disrupted by a once-in-a-century pandemic. You had to come up with a way to keep moving forward with your studies, your friendships, your housing, and your life. I'm sure there were moments when nothing seemed assured, but you were able to navigate through it to get to today. All of that makes this moment sweeter. In the decades since I've graduated, I had the good fortune to have many incredible experiences. I was profoundly shaped by growing up in a blue-collar town outside of Bay City, Michigan, less than 100 miles away, and by my 4 years here in Ann Arbor. I was so intimidated when I arrived. At the Michigan Daily, I honed a passion, learned a trade, and left with a career track and a partner for life. The challenges and opportunities presented by the Daily, one of the great independent student newspapers in this country, reflect in many ways the experience of attending the University of Michigan. Both are big, diverse, energetic, and intimidating institutions that you have to figure out how to navigate on your own. It can be downright daunting. Often, it seems there's no one helping you to do anything, even to fill out the form to graduate. But figuring out your own path and succeeding, as you have, really does prepare you for life. Not that I knew any of this when I was a student here. The idea of me ever standing on the stage and giving the remarks was anything but predictable. I had many more parking tickets than A's. I spent my waking hours at the newsroom on 420 Maynard. I tried to keep up with schoolwork, but I confess that it often came after the last edition was put to bed and midnight nachos with a friend at the Brown Jug. Going to Michigan is the whole experience. I had no way of knowing that my time outside the classroom would prove to be so important to my development in who I was becoming. That lesson is more important than ever, given where we are as a country. Today, you are graduating into a bitterly divided nation with tribes that struggle to understand one another. As products of one of the great public institutions, a school that sits in the middle of the country, you have a leg up on being able to understand the differences in our society, to empathize with those of different views and circumstances, and to play leading roles in bridging the divides. I'm biased, but Michigan's importance to the country, its politics, economy, and future is paramount. It's a place that knows struggle, but also resilience and rebirth. A combination of Midwestern nice and a good dose of grit. And yes, it is a place that swings from election to election. Yet there's a deep unifying bond we share. Perhaps it's best felt here at Crisler Arena, or when we gather as part of the biggest crowd in America to watch a football game at the Big House. Cheering on our beloved Wolverines serves as a reminder that there is more that unites us than divides us. I think about this often as I lead NBC News, how we can offer unbiased reporting that touches people outside their algorithm-driven echo chambers. In 1940, NBC News televised the very first newscast across the country. I think the mission articulated then of free, trusted, high-quality news is more important than ever. I'm here to tell you that the thousands of journalists I've had the privilege to work with take their role seriously. And it's important that you take what you read and consume seriously. There's a reason the First Amendment came first. It wasn't just about protecting a free and independent press. It's also about a free and independent population engaging with that information. Resist the urge to tune out. Feel empowered to engage with stories about your community, your government, and even people half a world away. I also think about the importance of truth when I think about the age you are entering. When I was a student, it would be years before cell phones arrived. My college friends and I now marvel about how we even made plans. It's difficult to fathom how we found one another. You are entering a world where similar disruptions are widely expected with the advent of AI. But though our world may be on the cusp of great change, I believe the thing that will stand out is original work and thinking, and how well you solve problems that, let's face it, abound. AI may be a co-pilot, but the need for you to lead is greater than ever. I've been thinking about what I could offer you as you begin the next leg of your journey. Here are 5 pieces of advice. First, be someone who solves problems instead of complains about them. Yes, there are problems everywhere, but you will quickly establish yourself as a reliable colleague and friend if you work to find ways to solve issues instead of vent about them. A beloved editor at the Wall Street Journal once told me to be a closer. What does that mean, I asked. Instead of CCing others on an email chain, do whatever is needed to just take care of the problem. I've found it to be very good advice over the years, both personally and professionally. If you can figure out a way to move forward, you will find that others will come along with you. Second, pay your parking tickets. So remember those tickets I mentioned from the Michigan Daily? Well, I was indignant about them because the Ann Arbor police always seemed to come right before deadline. Didn't they realize the important stories we were crashing to inform the campus about the next president or the latest controversy? I stacked them in the glove compartment and paid them sporadically. Not exactly a smart strategy. Because of that, right before my graduation, my father got a notice that his driver's license was about to be suspended. It was perhaps my single biggest act of rebellion and has rightfully become family lore. I'm grateful to my parents who are both here today for putting up with it all. But it also taught me a critical lesson, that small problems should be addressed quickly and forthrightly before they become bigger ones. It's proven to be very useful in life, as there will be speed bumps. Success is often determined by how you deal with them. Third, be ready to take advantage of open doors, even when they are unexpected. I knew I loved journalism, but my career took many twists and turns along the way. I never could have predicted that an opportunity to become the Wall Street Journal's China bureau chief in Beijing would come up, and that the paper would decide to send me with 3 young kids and my husband when we didn't speak a word of Mandarin between us. but they couldn't find someone else to go, and my fresh eyes ended up being a real asset. The broader lesson here is to try to view change, no matter how unsettling, as an opportunity. Fourth, choose your partner well. There is perhaps no bigger decision in life. Choose someone who will challenge you to be a better person and will be a partner of equals. There will be moments along the way when roles can shift, and you want someone who will truly be in your corner. That support is invaluable, and I'm forever grateful to Alan Paul, who has always been my biggest cheerleader and was comfortable working from home and helping to raise our children. Finally, show up. It's so important. You're going to share a lot of happy moments with your friends, and probably some sad ones as you all begin your journeys after today. But don't let the bonds fray. Cherish them. No one said that better than Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote and directed The Big Chill, a classic film on University of Michigan alums. He was tapped to give the commencement speech in May 1990 and gave the following advice. Your good friends from college may be the best friends you ever had. Guard those relationships like gold. Work hard to maintain them. When they have a wedding, go across the country to be there. When one of them gets sloppy about keeping in touch, keep trying. And when one of them needs your help, cross the globe to give it to them. If you do that, if you work hard, your friends will become a precious touchstone in your life. There aren't many things more valuable. And if you're lucky, 20 years on, perhaps you'll be called back to Ann Arbor to speak to a large gathering of people like you. And maybe on that day, all your friends will show up. And I know this is true because it is true of me. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my friends, the class of 1989, who came to help me celebrate this moment. Don't substitute a text or email for picking up the phone. Show up when you can. In conclusion, take what it means to be from Michigan and don't forget it. Be a bridge builder. Have empathy. Whether you're from here or you just went to school here, don't be afraid to show the world some of that Midwestern nice. We could all use it, and it will get you far, especially if you mean it. Congratulations. After your years here in Ann Arbor, I know you're going to make this world a better place. Go Blue!
Let's hear it one more time for Dr. Rebecca Blumenstein. Now, I said we were going to continue to confer degrees.